right.
Well, welcome to Spirits and Supernatural. I am Jenny.
I am Dawn.
And again, we're very excited because we have guests that joined us. This is our third part of our extra special episodes.
Yeah.
We kind of got away from doing characters just here at the end. And today we are doing props that were used in the show. And we've got a couple of special guests. We have Deb White from Oklahoma. If you've been to a convention, you may have met her or her special vehicle, Dean the Impala. Thank you for coming, Deb.
Absolutely.
We have Mary A. from Chicago, who we actually do a rewatch group with. That's how we met her. And we've met her a couple of times. And she's got a boatload of props from the show. So.
We also have Rihanna. Rihanna, can I tell everybody where you're from? Or do you want to?
Go ahead.
Rihanna is from Lawrence, Kansas.
Which is the best prop of all.
That's not a prop. That's a city.
I know, but it's so cool.
And Rihanna owns a special car. She has Yertle, which is the gremlin. Is it a replica or...
No, this is the screen-used car that Felicia Day drove on the show.
That is amazing.
One of the really unique things about this particular car is all of the vehicles that they had on the show, be it the Impalas or Bobby Chevelle, Cass's Pimpmobile, they always had at least two. You know, the Impalas, they had a fleet across the entire 15 seasons, but they had two Chevelles, they had two Pimpmobiles, so on and so forth. They only ever had one gremlin that they used for Charlie.
That's
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
With our podcast, we always try to do a cocktail that correlates with the character we're going to be talking about. Since we're doing props, Dawn got real busy on her computer and printed up some labels. She did... Go ahead.
I did Margiekugel's lager, which is one of the beers that we see, and then also
the El Sol imported beer. And mine is pink because Jenny doesn't drink beer. And it's actually Mike's hard strawberry lemonade. But today the boys probably would not drink it.
No.
Yeah, so that was really cool. We don't have to worry about mixing, and we'll still rate it at the end, I guess. Sure. But we're just going to go ahead and jump in. First thing, we would like you guys to explain to us very briefly kind of what is a prop and what is...
I was just going to say, you guys are like our prop experts for
yeah.
this. Because for us, we're just fans, and we're like, it's the stuff they use to make it more real.
Right.
But our understanding is there's a little bit more to it than that.
Yeah.
There he is.
So if you want to just briefly explain a little bit to us, doesn't matter who does
what. Part.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing. Most people may not realize that props are anything that the characters are going to hold in their hands. So a lot of things can be under the props department. And then sometimes, depending on how it's used, even if it's something that can be held in their hand, it will fall under a different department when they're actually filming the show.
So like a chair, for instance?
Yeah,
would
like
that be considered a prop if they're not something they really hold in their hand?
Is it not a prop if they sit on it, but it is a prop if they pick it up and throw it?
That's what I'm asking, yeah.
Sometimes it's a differentiation like that.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be both. So there's the set deck as well, who is, usually chairs, furniture, the various motel rooms that they're in, etc. But yeah, props. There's a few wide definitions on those.
Okay.
Yeah, usually, though, the prop is something that's portable, so you can pick it up and move it. And I think that might be a really good way to distinguish between like the set decoration. Generally, you don't pick up and move a chair unless you maybe bash it over somebody's head or use it during the scene or something like that.
That's what I do.
So would the vehicles be props or are they something else?
Other than Baby, we know Baby was character. We're gonna
Baby is not a prop.
Yeah, Baby is not a prop.
I think Jensen has said that,
yes.
more than once. But no, the vehicles are another department entirely.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does a prop department get them?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can buy the props, or the prop department was really good about making a whole host of different props. I mean, you can't go down to the Walmart and buy an angel blade or a first blade or things like that.
No.
So I think the show was just amazing about creating all these wonderful props for us.
and unique things at that. Like the
Very
angel
unique.
blade itself is unique to the show, at least as far as I know.
Well, Jerry Wanick came to Nashville, and obviously he was in Vancouver also. And so, he was the set designer, which I know you all know that, and I'm sure all of our listeners probably know that too. So that was really cool to listen in on his panel. It was just really interesting. So, Deb, you're the owner of An Impala. My first question is, how many 1967 Chevy Impalas do we know how many are still around?
For sure, what we have heard, and Rihanna can correct me on this, Jared and Jensen have theirs, and there might be one in the Warner Brothers Museum, but the rest, this hurts my heart, were crushed.
Oh, crushed. Wow.
Yeah.
Because there were from what I've read, there were 9. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But in different stages of, some had, for the baby episode, that Impala had the roof cut off so that they could get the shot of the boys laying down in the Impala. So that Impala doesn't have a roof on it.
Okay.
And other Impalas have holes drilled through the sides to mount cameras on them.
This hurts me.
So I know.
Well,
So whenever the car had to look good, like you see the whole car, like they're driving up, those are the hero cars. Yeah.
Well, I do know that one of the hero cars that was used in Baby is still around. And that man has brought that actual car to conventions.
Is that Joey's? Or is it somebody else?
It's somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's somebody else. He was in Cleveland. Joey wasn't in Cleveland, right?
No, he was.
He was.
Is it Joey that has the actual...
Little sis, the way I understand it with that car is that car was used in background on one of the episodes, but it wasn't black at the time. It was painted white. So it was the Jeff Budnick, the car guy, would love to sprinkle little Impala Easter eggs throughout the scenes where he could have, in Bobby's scrapyard. If you look, sometimes there's an Impala hood there. There might be the Leviathan episode that when they crush Edgar with the car, that's actually an Impala that they crush Edgar with.
I don't think I want to hear any more about Impalas getting holes drilled in them and cut up. Why would you do this?
Yeah.
It's
It's not as bad as Dukes of Hazzard, though. Those cars were
I'm sure
decimated.
They're like dogs. All Impalas go to heaven. It's okay.
I was like, what do you mean they're like dogs? I thought this was going to get
The
really
dogs
dark.
are going to be crushed. That's not where I was going.
Oh my God.
But
yeah, so a lot of the other Impalas, while they did have several of them, were not all complete.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Or they took a beating.
But yeah, my understanding was they ended the show with 9. So, the 2 hero cars went to Jared and Jensen. One's at the Warner Brothers Museum. And then, the other stunt vehicles were unfortunate. I won't say the word again and break your heart once more.
The C word.
Don't crush her heart, please.
Oh my gosh, Jenny.
I will say I was lucky with my car in that Dean does have parts from that season 1 car that got hit by the semi. He has parts from that Impala.
They weren't all crushed?
And so some of the parts from the rear end were, because, it was hit on the side. So they were able to use some of those in my car.
Okay.
So.
Another fun fact about the baby episode is while they were filming that episode, they used all 9, I believe they had 9 at that time as well. Don't quote me on that. But while they were filming Baby, they used all of the Impala vehicles that they had. So the 2 hero cars, they used all of their stunt vehicles in one capacity or another. Because, there's the one scene when Dean drives into those cones and crushes the front end and crushes the heart. That's
the title.
Then, to Deb's point as well, there's that shot where there's the camera looking down into the car. So they had a blown apart Impala. And I know that sounds a lot worse than it is, but what it essentially is a shell. So the doors come off that car, the whole front end can separate from the car, the roof can come off the top of the car. So that way they can get specific interior angles or the specific interior shots at the angles they need without having, a dash in the way or, filming from the back seat, looking forward. They can have, a camera where you would typically have those rear seats.
Or the scene when
So-
both boys are laying flat out.
Clearly,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and in the scene where Dean is about to go fight, or is fighting Deputy Dumbass, and he's standing in front of the car on the phone, and then a little later in the scene when he pulls away, there's some vehicle like off in the brush that you can't really tell what it is because it's all covered and bushes and everything. That was the crushed Impala from season 1.
Yeah.
They had that one all the way through the end of the show because they would, use all of the vehicles that they had. So the various fleet vehicles, they would use parts and pieces off all of them to keep whatever cars they needed on screen running. But Baby was such a fun episode because you can look at the Impala throughout the different scenes, and there's very little details that are different from scene to scene to scene because they were using different cars.
Yep.
So go watch again and see what you see.
Baby is one of my favorites, hands down,
absolutely.
for sure.
So, Deb, I know you do a lot of supernatural conventions. You just mentioned that your Impala Dean can be like rented for weddings and other events. So, Rihanna, do you get to do anything cool with Yertle?
I've done a couple photo shoots with people. Admittedly, the Gremlin is not as iconic as the Impala is, which, every right that Impala deserves every bit of attention she gets and more.
I disagree. You're all
I agree. The Impalas definitely get the attention, but Charlie's car wasn't used in too many episodes, so it's not as familiar to folks. Sometimes, when I brought it to a con, they walk over, they see the Impala, which is great, and then they look at this little yellow car sitting there and go, what is this? Why is this here? So it takes a little bit more explaining, but you know what? I love her anyway. She was a screen car, and never in my life did I think I'd have a bright yellow 76 Gremlin, but she is a ray of sunshine and I love it. But
like walking on sunshine.
Yeah.
that's right.
I know.
That's right.
I call her Dean's little sister. So she has Yertle, Dean's little sister.
Has Felicia Day, do you have pictures with her with the car?
I do.
That's
So
awesome.
she came to Planet Comic Con in Kansas City a few years ago, and I did have Yertle at that convention as well, which is actually, I think that was the con that she told me why she named it Yertle, is because she thought the Gremlin looked like a little yellow turtle. And so the name just kind of stuck. So since Felicia named the car, that name has stuck with it, of course. But yes, I have had the car at several conventions. Felicia has been at a couple of those that I've been at as well, and we have done joint photo shoots with her and her original car, which is so much fun.
Love it. I love that.
That's brilliant.
So other than the cars, which aren't really props but are a different category.
Yeah.
Something else that's really iconic in the show is the green water cooler. Do any of you have one of those that was used in the show, or a replica?
I have a replica.
Replica. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. They are hard to find. Some of these parts or props are unicorns. So if you find one, even if you already have one and you can afford to get another one, you should.
There's probably only one or two, maybe two or three of those screen used green ones. I know Joey has one.
Yeah.
And one thing to consider if people are thinking about collecting props or is the price. I mean, some of these, the green cooler has got to be out. I don't want to say outrageous, but it's going to be an astronomical price, and your average person's not going to be able to afford that.
I don't think I even want to know. Oh man.
And
Jensen has one. Joey has one. That's as far as I know, but who knows?
And a lot of times you'll find one a different color and you'll repaint it. That's what happens a lot.
So we've talked about a little bit about replicas, and you guys have mentioned items that were screen used, but there are other kinds of props, is my understanding. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the other things? Like,
I can start out, and I thought maybe we could just give the term, and then one of us can show what we're talking about. That way, I mean, of course, if you're listening to it on the audio, you're not going to be able to see it, but we can describe it there. So we talked about, for example, the replicas. I think the name says it all. It's a copy. So somebody, either a company or an individual, made a copy of something that they like on, from the show. I think a lot of us have seen replicas. We've seen people doing photo ops or cosplay. Not only do they dress as the character, maybe they're holding an angel blade or a first blade or something like that. So it's just a copy of something. Do you guys have any other replicas that we can show there?
Well, here's Bobby's flask.
That's screen accurate though, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's a replica. I mean, it is. just to add my little spin on it, I've had it autographed. So
Ooh,
this is
nice.
just for me.
Love it.
But the front is for Jim Beaver. So, I mean, that's something else that people can do with props. They can either keep it exactly the way it is, depending on whether it's a replica or, I mean, obviously, if it's something screen used, you're not going to want to get it autographed, or at least I wouldn't. But
No.
yeah.
So thanks for showing that, Deb, because that, in addition to a replica, the step up from a replica is called screen accurate. So it looks exactly like the one that it was used during filming. Deb showed Bobby's flask. I mean, you can, by holding it, when she held it up, you can see it looks exactly like the one that was used on filming. Whereas the replica, you can tell that it's something there, but it doesn't have to be exactly identical to it. So those are two different types of items.
I feel like that's
there
my beer
go.
label kind of isn't the idea here, because first of all, I found this image online. Somebody else made it, and it doesn't have like the exact image that was in the circle here, or it doesn't have like the information on the side or whatever.
But it's nice.
Good.
It's fun.
It's really close.
They're relatively inexpensive. I mean, not everybody has,
I printed this.
Not everybody's
Good
able
job.
to afford some of the higher ones. So it's a really nice way for all the fans to participate and get some nice props that way.
Oh, let me ask a real quick question. What is wardrobe considered? Is it considered
a whole
prop?
separate department?
Wardrobe.
Yeah, wardrobe is wardrobe.
Yeah,
it's considered wardrobe.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. I mean, that's what makes sense, but I don't. Because, some wardrobe is just like a pair of jeans and a shirt. Some wardrobe is like Mary's nightgown that gets all bloodied. I happen to know somebody that owns one of those. that was your cue, Mary.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe we can do an episode in the future on wardrobe. But wardrobe is considered completely separate than the props are. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, see, I would have just lumped it in there as just its own separate category, but still under that umbrella is how I would have thought of it.
All right.
Okay.
So screen
And
accurate.
replica. Yep.
Replica.
So those were actually not used during the filming, during the show, but they're still, look almost exactly or exactly identical to the ones in the show. And then
that's the screen accurate.
And then there's three more, but those actually were associated or used, during filming of the show. So maybe we'll talk about the two together, production and screen use, because I think Deb and Rihanna would agree. Sometimes it's really tricky to tell the difference between the two.
For sure.
Production is a prop that was intended to be used in filming, but sometimes it just didn't make it onto the screen. Maybe, think about how many dozens or hundreds of props have to be made just for one episode. Sometimes they don't know exactly what they're going to need. Or this was something new that I learned when I got into props, is there's not just one prop. They have to make multiples of each one of the props in case they get broken, damaged, lost, whatever. So a production prop just it was intended to be used in the episode, but it just didn't actually make it on screen.
But it was still made by the show. Yeah.
It was still made exactly by the prop department.
Oh, okay.
Whereas
So are you telling me there's multiple demon blades then?
Yeah.
And not just the one?
Yep.
Yep. Same
She's
wardrobe.
True. Like I said,
You guys are blowing my mind today.
my mind was blown when I found that out too. I don't know about you, Deb and Rihanna. I was like, what? There's not just one demon blade? There's not just one? No, there's multiples.
Yeah.
Oh, I just assumed there would be 15 seasons.
With those goofballs on set, I'm sure they had to make multiples of things, right?
They talk about Robin from Props, who had to come and just walk by and take things from their hands because they were being a fool with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they
just call her Robin Props too.
So there's the production. Those, like I said, we just really can't tell they were used on screen. But then there's another category called screen use, and those actually did make it on screen. The other thing that I learned from when I started collecting props is I mentioned there's multiples of them. I thought they just used like one. No, sometimes they use, 2, 3, 4, several different ones during filming an episode. So those are called screen use props. And as I mentioned, sometimes it's just a little tricky to tell the difference between something that's production. Yes, it's that object. It just didn't make it on screen versus screen use. It actually did make it onto, a Supernatural episode.
So as a collector, how can you verify that something was production versus screen used? Because like if somebody walked up to me and said, this is the demon blade from Supernatural, I'd be like, heck yeah, that is.
Cool.
And I would have no clue if it was one they made at home, one they bought, one that was production or screen used or just screen accurate or what. How can you tell the difference?
It can definitely be really tricky. A lot of it is, in the props community, and a lot of us, kind of know each other. There's a bunch of various collectors. So some of it is faith, if you know the person it came from and they say, I got this here, I know this person, I know I can believe this person. But if someone walked up and handed me a demon blade, whether it is a replica, whether it's accurate, whether it was production, whether it's screen used, it's a little fuzzy. Sometimes, folks that have replicas, you can tell it's a cosplay prop or it's not, not an accurate replica. But I mean, it's fun. It's fun to cosplay. It's fun to have these props. The replicas usually really cheap and expensive. Great ways to go out and have fun. I don't have very many replicas. I've got a ton of screen accurate because I'm just that OCD.
Yes.
I know folks who were on it. I know folks in the props community. I know what these looked like. So I'm pretty particular about getting good replica props. I've got a bunch of production props too that I know where they came from. And I know these came from production. And then I've got a couple that I know were used too. Oftentimes with TV shows or movies or any kind of filming productions, honestly, not very often do you actually get like certificates of authenticity. Sometimes you do. Oftentimes you don't. And so you just kind of, you have to know the person. You have to know where it came from. If someone just walks up to you on the street and hands you this and says it's this, you got to take that with a grain of salt. But if you know where it came from, if you know who it came from, then you know what it is.
I just thinking if somebody walks up to me in the street with a knife, I'm not going to ask them if it was screen accurate. I'm just going to leave.
That's probably saying.
You haven't had illicit meetups with strangers about knives?
I'm just going to the park with my granddaughter.
Here's a demon
lady. I got something for you.
Rihanna's correct in that I like to get a lot of like the crew gifts, the gifts that they made just for the crew each year. They would make.
Oh,
okay,
well,
sometimes something will be labeled as a crew gift, and I'm like, I don't recognize that. I actually know somebody that worked in video special effects on the crew, and I actually sent them a picture. Was this a crew gift? And they were like, yes, I actually have that. It is a crew gift. So, I mean, it is sometimes knowing people that know.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
So there's got to be like a credibility behind that. If it's somebody who was on the crew or you have a rapport with that person.
Yeah. And if I could add to it, I don't collect the replicas or the screen accurate. I guess I want the good stuff. I want the stuff that was actually used on screen or production. And you're absolutely right that it really comes down to their reputation, reliability. Even though maybe they're not supposed to, a lot of the cast and crew did take home a lot of the props. And there's just a very small number of people who actually have the reputation that if you have a prop from that person, that it's actually used during production or during the actual filming. If you guys don't mind, maybe we could show a couple of the production or the screen used items.
100%.
We would love to.
Maybe just like some of your favorite ones and tell us, I'm also thinking if I'm walking on the street and Jensen Ackles comes up to me and says, hey, I've got something I used on screen, I'm going to believe him. And then I'll bring him.
That's the credibility.
I was going to say, are you talking about yourself? Because yes, I know you were.
I saw that.
I saw you used on screen.
I'm going to start out with the Angel Blade because I think, Jenny, that goes to your question. Well, how do you know this thing is real? I mean, there's probably, thousands, if not millions of replica Angel Blades out there. But for example, here's one. And let me go a little bit closer to the screen. I know this one was used because look, the little tip is even broken off. So this one is made out of resin, and it was used during filming. And then I don't know how much you can see it on screen, but you can see little pieces of the paint are missing, little chips.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you know in particular what episodes it may have been used on, or is that too challenging?
It depends on how unique a prop is, with the Angel Blades too. I mean, they were introduced fairly early in the show, and they had, I don't know, number dozens, hundreds likely that were used over the course of it. So trying to narrow down, some of them can be challenging, but then others, they may have only been used in a couple episodes, and you've got really good screen caps and you can match it and go, this is from that episode. Yeah.
Show you one more because I think these types of props are really highlight the difference between the replicas and the real ones. Let's see. I think everybody knows.
Oh yeah,
the FBI.
The FBI badge.
Yeah,
sure.
Deb, you would agree.
Which names are on them? I can't tell on.
Let me tell you the names because I think that it will definitely show the difference between the replicas, the production, and the screen used. So, I mean, if everybody knows, you can go online and buy these FBI replicas all day and night. They're like, what, $5, $10 a piece. They're pretty, inexpensive. These,
I've seen people
you can make
their
your
own for
absolutely.
cosplays. Yeah.
These are production. They're not screen used. And Jenny, to your question there, it's because of the names. So, for example, Dean's is Eric Kripke, actually, Agent Kripke, and then Sam's is Agent Singer. We know that they never made it on screen. So if you look at all the different episodes.
Not FBI, but they did make it on screen when they were like the Forest Rangers or whatever, right?
Not these.
They had those badges. Not FBI, but that's what I'm saying. At the end, when they were like the Rangers, they were Kripke and Singer and had badges, but they weren't FBI badges,
so
right?
These are easy to tell. Okay, these are production. They were not used on screen, whereas we'd go to some of the other FBI, IDs. We know which ones they used on screen, and we can actually see them. So that's why it's really important because the replicas, $5, $10. These, if it's okay with you, I'll divulge, these are pretty expensive. You're talking...
It's your
$1,000 or so, whereas the screen used ones, I don't know, Deb and Rihanna, do you guys have an idea how much the screen used ones were, the ones that actually were used during an episode?
I mean, honestly, it's almost what you're
willing to pay, right?
For it. Like, what is somebody willing to pay for it? Because those are very limited. I know they used a lot of FBI badges, but how many are out there that survived that you can actually get your hands on? So the more rare the prop, the higher, like the less of them there were. Like obviously there were a ton of angel blades, but less like first blades. They didn't have hundreds of first blades. Yeah. So, or the Colt, absolutely. Too. There are just some of those that they didn't have very many of. So if you can get your hands on one of those, you're really going to pay for it. Yeah.
Or was it called the Equalizer? Was that the one that Chuck used?
Oh yeah.
With Sam?
Yeah.
Do you, Rihanna or Deb, have any screen accurate things that are not replica or production?
Screen use.
Screen use, so ones that actually made it on screen. Yeah.
No, I was talking about what you just showed us. It was production made it, but didn't make it.
I showed the production. The Angel Blade was a screen use.
Yeah, the Angel Blade was screen used, and the IDs were production, right, Mary?
Right. Yeah.
So Rihanna, you said you like to have stuff that's like screen accurate?
No, used, right?
Used.
Both. I like to be as accurate as possible. So this entire room I'm sitting in is it's either accurate or up. So ton of screen accurate. So the same as was used on the show, but it wasn't actually made by production, wasn't actually used on the show. But sometimes simple things, I'm just sitting here at my table. So, like the Ralph Lauren glasses that they used in the bunker. Yeah. There's a very specific kind of glass that they used. And so these are the exact same as, so these are replicas.
Right.
These weren't made by production. These are actual Ralph Lauren glasses that you can get. So same as, not production or screen used.
And here's the decanter that goes with that.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing. This is the same decanter, Ralph Lauren decanter that they used, but it was not used on the show. So, and sometimes it also, you have to do your homework to know what these things are going for. Sometimes you can find a deal because they don't know that was used on a TV
what they
show.
Have.
So they're just selling it. So thanks to Rihanna, that decanter was a deal. She found it and they didn't know what they had. So
awesome.
So in the case of like that, like Ralph Lauren is just like a brand. Anybody can, well, not anybody, but you could choose to go out and buy Ralph Lauren. But for Supernatural fans, that decanter, those glasses have a specific meaning. So that's something that like you could come across in a way. But if you're looking for that like production, Angel Blade or whatever. That's something you have to go out into.
Right. So, props, wardrobe, set deck, they liked to, use things for the show that looked very common, especially like wardrobe or something, some of the specific flannels. It looks like you can just go down to any Carhartt store or and grab some of these flannels, which oftentimes was the case. However, since they were in Canada, oftentimes the different brands and things that they would have access to were, there's some things that you can get in Canada that they don't make in the States. So a lot of things that they would use for the show, they wanted to look like it was a very common item when it is in fact something that is very unique and hard to find, like the Coleman coolers. If we come back to those, it looks like just any green standard cooler, but these are pushing 60 years old. And so to find the exact cooler at this point is very, very challenging. Some of the brands of flannels and things that they wore came from overseas. So it looks like, just a off the rack flannel, which it might be over in Europe, but, trying to find one now to find to find a replica same as on the show can specifically be very challenging, because they wanted to find unique, hard to find props so that, a lot of people couldn't just so there wouldn't be as many of them out there. They wanted them to be unique, but look common.
Yes.
I have a question for all three of you. What is your proudest thing that you got a hold of that you never thought you'd be able to get?
Other than my Impala?
Yeah, that one kind of stands
for
on
me.
Its own,
it's actually a piece of wardrobe. So I have one of, if y'all remember Monster Movie, the black and white.
I love that episode.
The blonde that Dean was really interested in, that had her, you can't tell in the episode, but her little bar wench outfit is brown with little pink flowers on it. I know because I have that. I have that one. The way I understand it, it was screen used.
Oh, that's really cool.
I never thought I'd get something like that.
Very cool. Rihanna, I'll go next, because then you can talk about the last category of the props, the screen match, because I think I know which one you're going to show. So my favorite prop that I have is this one. It's Dean's lighter.
Yeah.
It's a lighter.
So this is where we were talking about. It's really important to know like where these things came from, what they mean, because this could be just a screen accurate. Hey, Zippos, they don't sell them anymore, but you can sort of Google it and probably go out and buy one. This is not. This is a screen used lighter. So this is the lighter that was used in Lazarus Rising when Dean was in the coffin, and he lit up the coffin with this one. So I have I bought it from a person, a reseller. I have the COA for it, and I just love this one, probably because I like to own personal effects from the boys, and then Lazarus Rising is my favorite episode. So for me, this is just when I saw this one for sale, it cost a lot of money. I'm going to admit that, but I had to have it as soon as I saw it. So that's my favorite one.
Okay, so my question is then, just because we'll get to you, Rihanna, because I know you've got some awesome stuff to share. But so you're just holding it, Mary. You don't have gloves on, and you don't have it encased in a an oxygen free. Is that something that you feel like you're okay with that, because you want to be able to touch it and you let other people see it? I mean, I know you probably don't you're not gonna let a 3-year-old carry it around, but I'm sure there's collectors though that probably, if they got a hold of that, they're like, nobody's touching this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's really interesting that you say that. And Deb and Rihanna, you might agree with me. I think it sort of depends on the prop. This is metal. There's very little that's going to, happen to it unless, 10,000 people handle it and it starts, having rubs on it or other things. But then there are other props. I'm going to show you another one. So this is a screen used. It's called Stunt. So it's like a rubber taser used from the episode in Faith. And if you look closely, you can see the paint is coming off a little bit. They're starting to have, little cracks. This one I have to be very careful, how I handle it. I don't want a lot of people handling it. So I think it really sort of depends on the prop. And then I also have some paper items like the Dean's arrest warrants. Poor guy got arrested a couple of times throughout the seasons. Paper, you want to be very careful. You don't want a lot of fingerprints, the acid from your fingers on there. So I think it really depends on the prop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so Rihanna, what's your unicorn that you got and you're so excited about?
Yeah, other than the car, I have a couple others. So one here, I'll show you. This guy here is in a case.
Is it the dog?
It is not the dog. No, the pets do not come into this room for many reasons.
Oh, no.
So yeah, the cats and the dogs are just it's just a calamity with that crew.
Yeah.
So one of them is Chuck's book. Chuck's death book from the final couple episodes. So they had a couple kinds. So they had static books, which means, you can't open them. It's just, rubber here on the side. And then they had the actual books that were paper, they would fall open. You had the paper pages. So I do not know for sure if this one was a production or used. There's no really unique identifying marks on it to, call it one versus the other. But I do know this came from set. But then one more that I did sell my soul for.
Now, I'm sorry, did that one?
No. So this is one of the static
one
props it's just one piece. It doesn't fold open. It doesn't have any of the pages inside of it. And I do have to get up and get around my chair. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, because that's really cool. So that would have been the book that Billy had for that Chuck needed to get a hold of, or and that Michael /Adam got for him, right?
Yep. So this last one I'll show you. So this one is in a case. I don't wear gloves when I hold it just because I can't for what it is. I have to hold it. I have to touch it. So this is one of these screen used first blades.
So Tim Amundsen touched that?
I don't know for sure, Tim. I know Crowley and Dean did. Because they had multiple blades over the course of the show. Once again, I don't know exactly how many they had. So when I was talking with this person about getting one of the blades, I knew it was going to be a screen used one, but I didn't know which episodes it would be from. I didn't know any of that. However, this one, again, I know it's on video, but there is very unique blood patterns here on this blade and on the handle and on some of the teeth. So I have matched this to the final scene of 923. So when Sam lays Dean in bed after Metatron has killed him, Crowley comes in, does his monologue, and he lays that blade across Dean's chest, or lays it at his hand and then across his chest. This is from that scene.
And that's
This is from that episode.
That is so cool. I love that
so
for
much. Very, very many reasons, that episode and that scene mean a lot to me for very many things. So when I got this blade and I'm going through the episodes trying to figure out which scene, which episode this came from, and it came from that scene, I had a moment.
Did you do a little dance?
No, I sat down because I
passed out.
Yes.
Did you cry?
No, I don't
so
cry.
cool.
I'm dead inside, but I still
She was overwhelmed.
Okay, Jensen.
If I could add to that a little bit, that's the last category of props there are, is called screen matched. So there's something unique about it that you can actually, you're lucky if you can pinpoint it down to a specific movie or TV show, but then there are some you can specify the exact scene it was used in, like Rihanna's. So there's something about the patterns or wear marks about it that you can exactly pinpoint it. And those, there's got to be a handful of those for Supernatural. You can imagine it's really, really difficult to pinpoint those. And those are going to be very expensive.
For sure.
I sold my soul for this prop. I'm not going to admit what it.
Is that why you can't cry anymore?
Yeah. Right. She's dead inside. No, she's
no, I can't afford to cry. I got to go to work now.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't trade that for anything.
That's so
These
cool.
are so cool. And the smiles in everybody's faces, because we have this connection, we recognize it. How would one, if you could say maybe briefly, I don't know how intricate of a process it is, how would one become
how did you get
props?
into
How
this?
did you get into it? How do you get into prop collecting?
I don't think I started out saying, go ahead, Rihanna, go ahead.
No, I was just make a bad joke. It's like, when people ask, how did you get into this fandom, how did you start doing all this, it's like, well, lots of spare time and no social life.
Dad went on a hunting trip.
yeah So no, it's
I guess for me, I'd never intended when to say, okay, I want to collect props. I sort of fell into it. I think all of us would agree. We're beyond obsessed. We're beyond fans of the show. And I just wanted something to have like a connection to the actors and a connection to the show. And I discovered there were props. And then I discovered, oh my God, I can actually buy these things. So it's just a matter of doing some research. There are some auction places that will very rarely, but occasionally they'll come up for auction. There are individuals who do sell these. Occasionally you'll find them for whatever reason, people like us, we own them and they want to sell them. But those are the ones you have to be very, very careful for sure. Make sure that they're the real things and not fakes. Mm-hmm. And then like we talked about earlier, there are people that we know that they're the legitimate ones. They were former crew members, or whatever. And so we know that they're real. So I think if you decide to do it, just really do your homework, because hopefully we've shown you a little bit. I mean, there's replicas, screen accurate, production, screen used, screen matched. The difference in price between the replicas and the screen matched is thousands of dollars.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, there's no comparison.
I think I'll be sticking to printing my Margiekugel.
I think
we'll just do our podcast.
Time to figure out, like, okay, I didn't get into it obviously I have all these props now because I have the car, and some of those are really, really hard to find, and they are very screen accurate, although they were not screen used. Relationships, like you have people like Mary, like Rihanna, like myself that are knowledgeable and know and can kind of guide you and kind of keep you from making a very expensive mistake.
Yeah.
I say a lot of it too is just have fun, and you don't need to watch the show and be a prop collector and get super serious about it. If you find somebody selling an angel blade at a con and you think it's really cool and you really like it, go for it. If it matters to you, if it is, accurate, or replica or whatever, then like get some screen caps, get some up close views of what was actually used on the show, compare that to what you're thinking about buying. And, if it matters to you, then you've got your answer. If you're not sure, reach out to some folks in the community, but, more often just have fun. When I started watching the show however many years ago, it was just me in my living room. I didn't know anything about these cons, and, however many years down the road, it got a little crazy. Yeah. So
it can definitely become an obsession.
Cool that you have a bunker room, though. I just think that's
I can't
so
wait
cool.
to make a bunker room. I'm going to be buying a house sometime in the next 6 to 12 months, and I have all the supernatural stuff that I'm dying to put out.
That's so cool.
I love it.
Well, I think too, like what we're saying, if somebody can afford a replica and they want to get a replica, the value of that is because that's what you wanted. Yes. And it gave you joy. I saw like Marie Kondo now. Does it give you joy? It sparks joy. I just think that, like, if I buy a T-shirt or whatever, it made me happy, and somebody else made
my thrifted flannel. That every time I wear it, somebody's like, "Is that your Winchester flannel?" I had somebody say that to me today. This is an Eddie Bauer shirt from the thrift store.
Oh, I know. I had one more question about a specific prop, and that's the Samulet. Has anybody that or do you guys have a screen-used Samulet? Or know if any?
Know somebody that does.
Know somebody that does.
Okay.
There's one for sale right now.
Should I tell?
Mary? Should I? Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you the price. So this is somebody who's known to charge way more than the items probably should be, costing. But hey, there's crazy people like us who are willing to pay some of these prices. But there is one for sale right now, just shy of $20,000.
I love that idea. I just, I can't.
Right. You're going to buy a house. That's a little more.
Yeah.
House or a necklace. It can be the smallest things that bring you joy. I had somebody gift me. Right. Phil Segresha has an auction on eBay where he sells some of his crew stuff to, like, when the writers were on strike, he would fund the writers, like help them out with bills and things like that. And so a lot of times he'll sell crew stuff on there. And so there is, Jensen and Jared both have a little pewter Impala that was given as a gift in season 15. No, not 15. When was the duffel bag, Rihanna?
Duffel bag was 15.
Yeah, it was 15. I don't know why I was second guessing that. I think the key was in that, wasn't it? the little pewter key.
This was 14. It's in incredibly tiny writing on the license plate on the front. I've got fairly good eyesight, and I still have to get a magnifying glass to see this.
Yeah.
But this is 14.
So somebody bought that from Phil's auction. He was selling 2. They bought 2, and they gave me 1. They paid it forward to me because they said you need 1 because you have an Impala. So I actually have one of Phil's little gifts. That kind of stuff really fills my cup.
Sure. Well, I think the Samulet that they used in the fan fiction episode, the one that they made, I think that would be
Someone
cool to get a hold
has it
of.
Because you guys remember Deb and Brianna? There was,
not for me. I don't
there
want
was
it.
a big sale.
I like to eat. I would never be able to again.
I saw it for sale. There was a huge sale a couple of years ago by somebody who acquired a lot of real props, and I saw it for sale there on that list. So somebody owns that one.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though. Did you have something else, Dawn?
No. This is just such a cool conversation. I'm so glad to be here right now.
I know. Yeah, we come up with some good ideas sometimes, don't we?
On occasion.
Yeah. Well, ladies, it means so much to us that you would take your time to do that and share it. And I know you love it. You know, obviously you love to talk about this stuff, but you didn't have to come on our little podcast, but we really appreciate it. So Deb, Mary, Rihanna, thank you so much. You have obviously given us a wealth of knowledge that we sure didn't know hardly any of that.
No, surely. I'm not sure I still understand all the differences, to be honest.
It can be a little overwhelming, and one prop can be more than one thing sometimes.
Right. I was so surprised to find out it was so complicated and so expensive once I got it.
Yeah, Mary, your knowledge is amazing. Like when I have if I find some props, I may be coming to you to be like,
absolutely.
What do you think about this?
And I love that. I love the community that Supernatural has too. Your guys aren't like, oh yeah, come to me and then I'm going to, take it from you. You know what I mean? I'm going to like outbid you. But no, you guys are like, I want to help you, and you're all loving and
for
kind.
Sure.
Everybody in the community is really that way. And a lot of people have, really specific focuses. This is something that they know a lot about. I know somebody that watches are his thing. I mean, if you want to know everything there is to know about the watches they used on the show, there's wardrobe people, there's car people, certainly.
And the amazing thing is you show them a picture or as part of a picture, boom, like 2 seconds later, they tell you everything about that prop or that piece of wardrobe, right?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so cool. The cassette from the pilot when Sam's going through the cassettes. Oh, I just thought of that. That would be cool.
She's going to make a dream list.
Yeah, for you guys. I'll make a list that you guys should buy, and then you can show them.
So, Deb and I, we know someone who can, make those cassettes, which isn't something that, can be really done very easily anymore because it takes very specialized equipment. But we had blank cassettes, the same as that they had in the pilot. There just wasn't anything on them because they were blanks that you could burn your own cassettes, way before even burning CDs. Yeah. But we knew.
Well, we didn't call them burning.
Back then. Whatever the term was, it's slipping my mind. I apologize.
No,
we had these
so
blanks,
funny.
Same as used on the show, but we sent them to our friend who could create, who could put songs on these cassettes. So both Deb and I have the same cassettes, but we've got, our own chosen songs that we got to put on them. So, I've got on side A is Night Moves, and then the other one is, when he's rolling into Stull Cemetery, the Rock of Ages. So when you pop that thing in, depending on which side it's on, it just automatically starts playing Night Moves or Rock of Ages. Same as in those two couple episodes. When he pops it in, those are the first songs that started playing.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. All right. Well, we'll wrap this up again, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really
Thank you for having us.
Very good.
We have our stuff just sitting in our houses, sitting by themselves. We love to share it with everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, good. I'm glad you got it out and dusted it off to show us on here. Okay, Dawn, shall we rate our drink?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ease of making.
Should I reveal the secret that this isn't actually Margiekugel's?
Yeah. What?
It's Killian's.
It wasn't
Irish Red.
It wasn't screen used.
I forgot. I actually do have a Margiekugel, a real label. this is where our explanation comes in handy. It's production. So it's still on the original sheet. You just need to peel it off and stick it on a bottle, but it's a reel.
Oh, that's really cool.
This is cardstock. I printed it out and
put on with Scotch tape.
But I wanted a bottle that was like the dark glass because that's what the Margiekugel was in.
We should have clunked.
We never
clunked.
We never clunked.
We clunked. We clinked. Let's crush it.
I'm not going to crush a glass. Here.
Crush the card, crushed on soul.
What do? We do match. We do...
Well, I'm pretty sure what you made matches perfectly.
Perfectly.
You could probably sell it for thousands of dollars.
Somebody else designed this.
You could sell it for nothing.
Stealing somebody else's idea.
I'm giving a full swig on it, though, because you did a great job. On matching the episode. Okay. It's great prop.
Thank you. I actually worked harder to get the El Sol banner because it's very unique. It has like several little flags the way it goes. I don't know how to describe it. Perfect. I worked harder to do that, but thanks to
swig.
Canva.
And I'm going to give a swole fig. Yep, that's Jenny drank her whole drink. I'm going to give a full swig on taste.
Yeah, because it wasn't beer.
Yep.
Jenny doesn't like
100%.
Beer. I mean, I like Killian, so
how
worked.
Easy was it for you to make these?
I went to make the labels or to make.
Well, I think that's got to go with part of it. Was it hard?
Okay, so I went to the store and bought this beer. That was super easy. Probably the easiest part. So I used Canva for the rest of it and just kind of moved around. That one I honestly think was harder to make than this one, even though this has like the neck label and the bottle.
Are we still giving a full swig, or do you need to? Full swig.
It wasn't. I do stuff in Canva all the time. It wasn't hard.
And so, if somebody wants to mocktail this, then they can get strawberry lemonade.
I mean, you can buy
Crystal
a bottle
Light, or they can just get
a
fake beer if they like the taste of beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can Google it online like I did to find the labels.
8 full swigs. We did it.
Yay.
All right.
Go team.
Okay. All right. So we're just going to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thanks again for everybody that listens. And my mom.
And Jenny's mom.
Yep.
She's our biggest fan.
She is. We are on the socials. And so, drop us a line. Let us, if you have great ideas or a great cocktail or whatever, just
if you're listening to this and you collect things or you have like your favorite replica, we want to see it.
Absolutely, 100%.
Comment a
Email,
picture, let us know.
Send us your pictures. Don't send us your props.
I mean, if you want to send us your prop,
you're not getting it back. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.